Hello everybody, what's up? This is your girl BeeSparrow from BuzzzTweet Radio coming to you live. I just came across this video, yesterday I came across this video on YouTube that really got me thinking. I am a believer in the Most High, and I do believe that He created this world for us to live in. He created us also. I'm not so sure that He created all of us, but hey, who am I? I do a lot of studying because I want to be right when the Most High Son come back to gather His people. I do believe that the so-called African Americans are the Hebrew people, and that the Jewish people that are over into the land of Israel right now are not the original Jews. But that's a whole different video. And let me just say that I'm not here to preach to nobody. I'm not a preacher. I just study a lot, and I feel compelled to share some of the things that I come across, some of the things that I study. It doesn't necessarily mean that I understand it. It could necessarily mean that I'm reaching out for somebody to fellowship with me, break it down for me. And that's why, shouts out to K. Judah. That's why I love the brother K. Judah. But I'll get into all that. But anyway, the title of the video is called "Like Sheep Led to the Slaughter. Israelites, are we sheep or lions? Wake up." Okay? And it's from, the video was created by Ronald Dalton Jr., who also did the movie Hebrews to Negroes, Wake Up Black America, that you can find on Amazon, and you can also find it on the Hebrews to Negroes movie.com website. So the description under the movie I would like to read is very interesting. It's very urgent sounding. It says, "Please take the time to watch all of this video. There is a lot of important points made in this video that every person needs to see. We are at a critical point in the world. Things are being put out right in front of our faces, but we are too blind to see it. This is why it is important that, along with understanding who we are biblically, it is important to understand who they are biblically as it pertains to the table of nations in Psalm 83, Ezekiel 38, and more. Until we do this, we will not truly understand end times prophecy and how close we are. Gog and Magog are real. Are they two giants? Are they nations of people in the world today? As the Hebrews to Negro movies spread like a virus throughout the world, principalities are moving faster to stay ahead of the awakening of sheeple citizens to the world. Will the Israelites prevail to the end? How many can we wake up before it's too late?" And that was written by, I assume, Ronald Dalton Jr., who created the movie Hebrews to Negroes. But I'm not going to talk about the whole video. I wanted to talk about the part of the video where the Pope, signaling his acceptance of globalism during an age of increased nationalism, he has now invited leaders to sign a global pact to create a new humanism. And I feel like I need to say that again. I'm reading from this article, further signaling his acceptance of globalism during an age of increased nationalism. Pope Francis has now invited leaders to sign a global pact to create a new humanism. The global event, set to take place at the Vatican on May 14, 2020, is themed Reinventing the Global Education Alliance, reports LiveShow News. The Pope is inviting representatives of main religions, international organizations, and various humanitarian institutions, as well as key figures from the world of politics, economics, and academic, and prominent athletes, scientists, and sociologists to sign a global pact on education so as to hand on to younger generations a united and fraternal common home. And I want to stop right there for 1 second because this reminds me of this new world order that they have been talking about for years. And this new world order, some people reference it, the happenings of it, in the book of Revelations, in the book of Daniel. Like, for instance, when Jesus said in Matthew 24, and I'm not trying to preach, y'all, just bear with me. He said, when ye therefore shall see the abomination of desolation spoken of by Daniel the prophet, stand in the holy place. Whoso readeth, let him understand. And so I went to Daniel, and I went to Daniel 7 for one reason or the other, and I came across three verses that interested me, that really caught my attention.
The great beasts which are four kings which shall arise out of the earth. Thus he said, the fourth beast shall be the fourth kingdom upon earth, which shall be diverse from all kingdoms, and shall devour the whole earth, and shall tread it down, and break it in pieces. And he shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High, and think to change times and laws, and they shall be given into his hand until a time, and times, and the dividing of time.
Verse 25 particularly stuck out to me, and he shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High, and think to change times and laws. Now we do know that not too long ago the Pope changed a line in the Lord's Prayer. After that, or maybe it was before, there was a story that came out that said he had changed some of the laws in the Ten Commandments. The story that came out about the Ten Commandments, allegedly is fake. But in my mind, if he can change a line in the Lord's Prayer, then he can change a line in the Ten Commandments. Now, I'm not making this stuff up. You can Google it. You can, look it up yourself. And not only that, the Romans are known to have changed the time. They have changed the Sabbath, which is originally I don't want to say the name of the days of the week, but it's the seventh day. The seventh day is the Sabbath, but for some reason, the Romans have changed the Sabbath to the first day of the week. And I learned yesterday that, I had heard this before, but yesterday I really looked into it. Happened to be from the same video, I believe. I could be wrong. But that the Romans or the Greeks or some of them, they changed the name of the weeks to, they named them after gods. Little g, gods. And so I try not to say Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, because those are names of gods. So now I just try to say day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5. This is Thursday, so we are in day 5. I did it. It's hard to break away from something that you've been doing for so long, but I'm going to try to pull myself away from the names of the days of the weeks. But getting back to this article with the Pope, who has called this Global Education Alliance events, this global events for the leaders. The global event is set to take place at the Vatican on May 14, 2020. The theme is reinventing the Global Educational Alliance. The Pope is inviting representatives of main religions, international organizations, and various humanitarian institutions, as well as key figures from the world of politics, economics, and academic, and prominent athletes, scientists, and sociologists to sign a global pact on education, so as to hand on to younger generations a united and fraternal common home. They aiming at the young people. On September 12th, and the months are probably named after gods too, now that I think of it. And the calendar was created by the Romans, as we know. I'm going to have to look into that, though, because I'm going by what I heard, and I don't like to do that. So I'm going to have to research that. On September 12th, I'm not going to call him the Holy Father. People, please understand, we only have one Holy Father, and men are not holy. A man is not holy. Men are not holy. We strive to be holy. So I will not be calling this man the Holy Father. I only have one Holy Father. Thank you, Most High. The Pope said in a video message that universal solidarity can only be achieved by way of a global education pact. LiveSite News noted that Pope Francis issued a strikingly secular message on the pact that contained just one reference to the Most High, and even echoed former First Lady Hillary Clinton's favorite phrase, "It takes a village to raise a child." The global pact will result in men and women who are open, responsible, prepared to listen, dialogue, and reflect with others, and capable of weaving relationships with families, between generations, and with civil society, and thus to create a new humanism, said Pope Francis, whatever that is. A new humanism. Kind of remind me of Jeffrey Epstein. Anyway, the Pope added that an alliance must be formed between the Earth's inhabitants and our common home, which we are bound to care for and respect. An alliance that generates peace, justice, and hospitality among all peoples of the human family, as well as dialogue between religions. The Pope's invitation to a global pact echoes his recent declaration that the common good has become global, while criticizing the nation states for being unable to meet this human need. He, however, did not issue a call for a one world government. Not yet, but it's coming. Trust and believe. In the current situation, see, this is to condition us for it. These times that we're in now is conditioning us for times to come, such as the Bible mentions, such as Yeshua HaMashiach mentions in Matthew 24. Y'all have to read and study these things for yourself. So he goes on to say, in the current situation of globalization, not only of the economy, but also of technological and cultural exchanges, the nation state is no longer able to procure the common good of its population alone. While according to the principle of subsidiarity, individual nations must be given the power to operate as far as they can. On the other hand, groups of neighboring nations, as is already the case, can strengthen their cooperation by attributing the exercise of certain functions and services to intergovernmental institutions that manage their common interests. In what was seen as a veiled critique of the Pope's stance, Cardinal Raymond Burke later told Rome Life Forum that natural law permits patriotism in accord with the order written upon the human heart and does not make just and legitimate a single global government. Before the challenges of our time, there are those who propose and work for a single global government, that is, for the elimination of individual national governments, so that all of humanity will be under one control of a single political authority, said Burke. But those who are convinced that the only way to achieve the common good is the concentration of all government in a single authority, loyalty to one's homeland or patriotism has become an evil. And speaking of evil, inside the Pope's reptilian audience hall in Vatican City, I don't know if you guys have seen this Vatican Hall, but I do have pictures in the video. So I'm kind of going between articles. I'm switching to another article written by Waking Times. Among the many strange and suspicious statues, fountains, and structures that occupy Vatican City, the Pope's audience hall stands out for its uncanny resemblance to a snake. Completed in 1971, the peculiar statue sits only partly within the actual boundary of the city/state, and the whole building, inside and out, is unmistakably reptilian. It's officially named the Paul VI Audience Hall, after Pope Paul VI, who reigned from 1963 to 1978. Apparently, he was a decent pope, although he has been implicated in covering up or ignoring the sexual abuse of young boys by members of the Catholic clergy. Don't they all? I mean, no one has done anything for years, and they're still doing it. So he was alerted to these scandals in a letter by Reverend Gerald M.C. Fitzgerald in August 1963, and was advised to take serious action against pedophiles. Although he never did anything, like I said, they never do. And there I'm going to show you an overhead photo of the building that stands out for its unusual shape. It's shaped like a viper's head. You will notice the similarities in the shape, the roofing and the scaly skin, and the placement of the eyes. Designed by award-winning Italian artists, the building is designed to seat 6,300 people for conference with the Pope himself, who presents from a stage in front of a gigantic, satanic-looking sculpture. Named the Resurrection, La Resurrection, the sculpture was designed by a Perico Fazzini and was inspired by the idea of Christ rising from the blast of a nuclear explosion. Suddenly, there came to me the idea of Christ preaching peace for 2,000 years and the place where he prayed for the last time, the olive grove of Gethsemane, said Mr. Fazzini in a book about the work. I had the idea of depicting Christ as if he were rising again from the explosion of this large olive grove, peaceful site of his last prayers. Christ rises from this crater torn open by a nuclear bomb, an atrocious explosion, a vortex of violence and energy. Oddly, from an angle, the head of Christ looks suspiciously like the head of a snake with his fangs open, prepared to bite. And you can see that in the slideshow. Also, the interior of the audience hall also closely resembles a serpent, strikingly with two fangs positioned over the stage. Both from the stage and from the audience's entryway, the room unmistakably resembles a snake, even though some write this off as delusional thinking, warning people away from considering its deeper meaning. Human pattern recognition is wonky. We tend to see faces in clouds and rock formations. Same here. Pareidolia, it is called. The photographer specifically selected lenses and position as to invoke snake imagery. There is no snake in real hall. There is only one in the distorted picture because it was a neat feature to put into the picture. You can see a view from the entryway. Is this just a trick on the eyes? And from the Pope's position on the stage, it seems like there's more teeth. The massive stained glass windows on the sides of the hall are also quite reptilian in their design, featuring vertical slits and oval-shaped eyes. The Vatican, while located in Rome, is its own sovereign nation-state, and a look around the grounds reveals unimaginable wealth and a plethora of strangely symbolic pieces. The famous Fontana della Pigna is a massive pine cone which is believed by many to represent the pineal gland, a tiny gland within the human brain believed to be the source of spiritual experience. Of course, the Vatican itself is easily recognizable from above as a giant keyhole symbolizing the gates of heaven. Design like this does not happen per chance. And the world's capital of great architecture, Rome, it is ludicrous to think that a famous architect could design a building that just accidentally looked like a giant snake's head, even though the Vatican denies the resemblance. For years, independent investigators have worked to point out the dark symbolism of the Catholic Church, noting that symbolism in architecture has long been used to convey hidden meanings. Yahweh sent fiery serpents among the people, and they bit the people, and many people of Israel died. The people came to Moses and said, "We have sinned because we have spoken against Yahweh and against you. Pray to Yahweh that he take away the serpents from us." Moses prayed for the people. Yahweh said to Moses, "Make a fiery serpent and set it on a standard. And it shall happen that everyone who is bitten, when he sees it, shall live." Moses made a serpent of brass and set it on the standard. And it happened that if a serpent had bitten any man, when he looked to the serpent of brass, he lived. And that's taken from Numbers 21, I think verses 4 through 9. Now, in the Bible, the snake symbolizes both wisdom, as in the Adam and Eve tale, but more commonly it represents the presence of evil, perhaps most common in the portrayal of the serpent as an enemy in general or as Satan in particular. If you add to the story of the Illuminati bloodiness and the theory that the global elite are part of a reptilian hybrid race or non-humans who rule over us with powerful institutions like the church, then the Pope's audience hall invokes even more curiosity. Either way, the audience hall definitely has an evil vibe to it, and this is no accident. He who has an ear, let him hear. Y'all be careful Study to show thyself approved unto the Most High, because they are throwing things in our face we worshiping things and we don't even know. Hidden right in front of our eyes. It's there, y'all. Take a look around. Study your word. Be on the watch. Things are about to happen. Are you ready? It's your girl BeeSparrow. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Like me on all platforms. I am BeeSparrow on Facebook. I am at It's BeeSparrow on Twitter. I am BuzzzTweet Radio on YouTube, BuzzzTweet Radio on Instagram. Holla at your girl.